we're kick-starting it from the Benin Network Center, where we'll look at the relocation of the Edo State Election Petition Tribunal to Abuja and what came up with it. In the studio, we have the PDP chieftain, a political analyst, Shedrack Dubai. Thanks for coming, Shedrack.
Good morning, sir. It's a pleasure being here. Good morning, my good people of Edo State.
And next to Shedrack Dubai is another political analyst, and he is Omogbe I14 Timothy. Good to have you join, Timothy.
Thank you very much for having me this morning, Philip.
We've got a full presence of analysts via Zoom, and starting with what we have here from the United States, Texas, Houston, is Ahmed Mamadou. Good morning, Ahmed.
Good morning, Philip. Good morning, viewers and fellow panelists. A great day ahead.
Thank you, Ahmed, and very sorry we have to disturb your sleep a little bit, and after this conversation you go back there. Good morning, Andrew. Andrew Bello is a legal practitioner, and he's joining us via Zoom. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Also, we have the presence of Ibrahim Momo, and as we are able to establish. Good morning, Ibrahim. Good to see you here.
Yeah, good morning, Philip. Good morning, Nigerians. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
All right. Ibrahim Momo is a lecturer from the Abrosali University, Ekpoma, and we're going to be having that. He is a political economist. Let's start with you. Let's set the ball rolling, Shedrack. I don't know how you greeted the relocation, though that's no longer news, but yes, at least they are already sitting in Abuja, and we are getting more reports today. But what do you see as what to expect, being that it's been relocated?
You know, everybody saw what happened, the political antecedents that trailed the Election Petition Tribunal when the sitting started here in Benin. There was relatively violence to a large extent. People who wielded weapons, there were shootings within the court premises. And you see the All Progressive Congress mobilizing massively to court every single day. There were lots of boys, people were being beaten up, private unarmed security were being taken. And as such, for me, I also felt that the lives of the tribunal judges and other principal members was also at stake, because they also must have feared that to a very large extent, with all of this political illegality, all of this desperation, and being an APC state, the environment became a little bit hostile. They were wondering, would they be able to give justice in this environment without being hounded? So for me, I felt it was need for us there also to consider their safety. And they also heard very, very quickly that during this one interview granted by the APC chairman, when he said openly that he was going to arrest anybody coming to bear witness for the People's Democratic Party, and he's going to arrest them and deal with anybody that comes to bear. So all of those outlandish statements, all of those infighting, all of those recklessness, all of those hooliganism, the heroism was getting to the peak. And we felt there was a need to a large extent. This is the wisdom of the court to say, oh, let us move this city to Abuja, where we can be a neutral, so where APC will not have the capacity to with all of these shenanigans around court to influence judgment or to intimidate persons who are coming to witness. So it will be good for us, the People's Democratic Party. It was a welcome development. We are pleased because we know justice anywhere, we justice everywhere. Okay. And that to a large extent we speak well. There's also the feeling, a few persons who have said no, the calculation they also have is that the All Progressive Congress are hoping and willing, they are praying that when the sitting gets to Abuja, the presidency will have unfettered access to influencing judgment as perhaps, because we all know that in the history of Nigerian jurisprudence, there have been allegations and counter-allegations of judgments not being a reflection of justice. There have been issues of politicians wanting to buy justice, misinterpretation or biased interpretation of the law, where people focus on technicality rather than the legality of the statements, of the issues. So for us, we are wondering, we are believing that at this material point in time, the judiciary must have learned its lesson, where in Nigeria we write a book and call it the Nigeria and its criminal justice system, and the book will become a bestseller in America. That will tell you how low the judiciary have risen in recent time. We believe that this is an ample opportunity for them to reposition themselves, for them to do the needful, and the presidency to a large extent should stay away, understanding very well the principle, the doctrine of separation of power, that the judiciary is an arm of government that must enforce and interpret the law to ensure that there is peace and tranquility for all members in the state. So we are hoping, we believe that the judiciary understands what it takes, and Tinubu also knows the seriousness of this issue. Okay. And Edo State is not one of those thermopolitical states, thermopolitically tepid states that can be shoved behind the shelf. Edo State is as one of the prime, at least not one of the first, one of the top 5 states in Edo State. Okay. We talk about political consciousness.
Okay. You've raised a lot of concerns, and I will want you to respond to that, Timothy.
Thank you very much.
Because the party, the APC, he said the shenanigans of the APC and all that transpired in terms of the negative vibe that came from the party against the PDP, you know, they saw it as a welcome development. But what's your purview in that?
Yeah, irrespective of the fact that he has mentioned accused the APC government or party of being responsible for the violence so far, I want to throw more light on that. Personally, I don't support any form of violence. I condemn, even if it's from this other party or from the other one. The issue we should be concerned about in this part of the world or in this country is how do we drive peace and development. We should stop a situation whereby we apportion blames to a particular set of people or a particular set of leaders. Because in the first place, some of these things are speculations. They are not actually confirmed. They are speculations. And when things are in the realm of speculation, you don't have to just to accuse or throw your submission on a particular set of people. I want to also respond to what he has said a while ago. We have seen cases where after these elections in Nigeria, not only in Edo State, you see the election going to the tribunal, to appeal court, and up to Supreme. It's unfortunate that anything that comes to Benin it goes extreme. We have not seen a situation where there will be daylight shooting in other states. They actually have contested the result of their elections, but in a situation whereby Edo State is always known for this issue of violence, that is my own concern. Irrespective of the fact that whoever are behind those shooting are not known, as far as I'm concerned, until otherwise proven. On the issue of the relocation, I agree with him that it is the best thing to do as of that. I didn't receive the news with any kind of a surprise, because I saw it coming, because it was becoming something else. How can hoodlums, gunmen parade themselves or just carry AK-47 on a daylight like that and start to shoot as if we are in a banana republic? Actually, I still fought the situation. I fought the law enforcement agents at this point, because if they are not caught, in apportioning blame, it will just be easy to say, if I'm a PDP person, I'll say it was done by the APC party, and vice versa on the other side. So to me, I condemn the total violence, and it's an act of barbarism. It's not going to drive development in this state, neither is it going to drive development in Nigeria. So we should look at what has happened, not really apportioning blame.
All right.
In trying to pick up what should be done at this point, I think the law enforcement agents should sit up and make sure they protect lives and properties, and even, if possible, apprehend those that are responsible.
Let's get to you, Ibrahim Momo, and let's get your thoughts in this, because we understand vividly there must be, in every action, there's a reaction. I don't know how you greet this, and of course, what do you think could go wrong now that we have it being relocated to Abuja?
Thank you very much. Let me start by saying that when it comes to Edo, its election and related associated violence, the major political parties are guilty across board, writ large. There's no gate saying that it is not a party A or party B issue. In the run-up to the election and during the election, we saw, for example, the use of the language "do or die" affair by the then governor, and even the then state chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, who was aligned to the then ruling party, the PDP. And then, even in the course of that same process, we have seen that the state chairman of the party, of the APC, the opposition party as it was then, and the ruling party now, Jarrett Tenebe, has been recorded also, not only the PDP former governor and the state chairman of the NLC, we're also seeing the state chairman of the APC, Tenebe, making such incendiary remarks. Then you add that first of all, the key players, the powerful forces, the individuals who hold the reins of power across political parties, the PDP, then Governor Obaseki, and Ojo Olaye, that was in state chairman of the NLC as it was during the election. And then the state chairman of the APC, Jared Tenebe. We are seeing that across the two major political parties, there have been incendiary language, there have been, attempts or use of flowery languages that tend to, promote insecurity or election-related violence. Even up to recently, we are still hearing those kind of rhetorics. That's one. Secondly, is that we have seen in the course of the tribunal sitting in Benin that an individual who was said to be a PDP member because of the fact that he wore the PDP insignia. He wore the face cap and a T-shirt that suggested, and then in the words he was using, return our mandate. We thought that, and this gentleman, this individual, who I don't know if he has been arrested now, because he was wearing a face mask, was shouting, return our mandate, and then he was shooting into the air around the court premises. A high level of insecurity that is unacceptable, especially when the matter is as serious as the gubernatorial election petition tribunal. It is not out of place, therefore, that under this background, under this circumstance, and then just one more, the fact that there have been clashes between supporters of the APC and supporters of PDP within the court, within the precincts of the court, within the court premises, where the tribunal was having a sitting. So if we have seen all of these incidences, it is not surprising, therefore, that the court, in its own wisdom, and for the safety, they didn't sign up as judges in the tribunal, justices in the election tribunal to lose their lives. Even the lawyers, the witnesses, the candidates, the petitioners, and the defendants across board, they did not sign up to lose their lives. So in the circumstances surrounding that, insecurity situation, high level of insecurity situation, it was expected that the tribunal was definitely going to seek a saner, calmer environment within which to hear the petition, for the petitioners' witnesses to be cross-examined, and for judgment to be passed, either for or against the contending parties. So this is how I see that the circumstances surrounding the post-election situation in Edo did not make it comfortable or suitable for the continuation of that tribunal in Benin. So it is not. That's for me. I think it was the right decision to make. And then none of the major political parties, whether it is the PDP or the APC, can claim, any kind of vainglory, because indeed they contributed to the leaders of those parties, the PDP and the APC, as I have already mentioned, contributed, forcefully to the level of insecurity where, even though they didn't perpetrate the violence themselves, their rhetorics in the run-up to the election, during the election, and even after the election shows that both the PDP and the APC were partly, guilty of creating a situation of insecurity in the state.
Okay, thank you. Let's quickly join you, Ahmed Mamadou. You heard what Shedrack, the PDP chieftain, said concerning the shenanigans and all that transpired, and of course the build-up to the election and even after the election. What do you have to say as regards the party in power in the state and the need for them to, ensure that violence does not erupt? Basically, we have it being relocated to Abuja. What could be your fears about this seeming repeat of this dastardly act?
Thank you, Philip. This is something that is very commendable to address. First of all, it's best we put a historical context into discussion that we're having. The history of violence can be traced directly to the immediate past administration of Godwin Obaseki. Political violence has never been as heightened as it is in Edo State until Godwin Obaseki was allowed to come into government. And why do I say this? Trace it back. From when he wanted to leave the APC, there was the bombing of APC chieftains. There was the violence that was meted out to the members of the House of Assembly in their residences in the hotel, as the people of Edo State will easily recall. There have been series of political violence. There's been damaging of houses, illegal occupation of people's property, etc., etc. And this came to a peak in the last gubernatorial election, where Godwin Obaseki came out publicly and said, this is a do or die affair. The question to be asked is, when does that mandate of do or die lapse? And we are seeing it play out, even in the refusal of allowing the tribunal to sit and listen to the case and pass judgment. Nobody has been spared this cycle of violence. The Oba's palace was attacked. People randomly were attacked. So look at the attack in the airport the other day by PDP chief thugs. So look, we need to be clear about where this is coming from, and we need to tell them enough is enough. The people of Edo, they've given their mandate to Senator Monday Okpebolo, and we are waiting for him to do the right thing. I'm even surprised that the tribunal stayed this long in Edo. It should have relocated a long time ago, so that the atmosphere, a peaceful atmosphere, they will have the chance to listen to all the contending parties and issue judgment accordingly. But let us not shy away from the fact that the cycle of violence has been long coming. It has been seen, it has been established, and we need to say together, enough is enough.
Let's get to you, Barrister Andrew Bello. Let's see what the Grand Norm says, the provision of the Constitution as regards the moving, relocating election tribunals from one particular point to another. Does the law support this, and on what ground?
Thank you very much, Philip. Now, election tribunals were created by the Constitution and the Electoral Act. Now, if you look at section 2 of the 6th schedule to the Constitution, you will see there that the Governorship Elections Tribunal will be controlled from Abuja by the Court of Appeal, the President of the Court of Appeal. So they control the composition, the direction as to what happens to a governorship tribunal is actually at the hands and the control of the President of the Court of Appeal, who sits in Abuja. Now that president has the powers as provided for under the Electoral Act, under the rules of that court, to move a court where the court is no longer safe to sit in a particular location. Don't forget that it's a federal court. It can be moved to Abuja at any time. It being a federal court, it's not a state court that is controlled by the state government or that is under the control of the state jurisdiction. No, it's a federal court, having been created under the control of the Court of Appeal. The President of the Court of Appeal can be moved by that Court of Appeal president to Abuja for reasons wherever it is no longer convenient for them to sit where they usually sit. Now, the reason they sit in the state of election is because of convenience sake, so that where parties want to call witnesses can easily locate the court, can easily be found, can easily be reached. But where it is no longer possible for that sitting to even take place, don't forget that the essence of the tribunal is to sit and hear all parties. But if the sitting can no longer take place because of insecurity and other reasons, as we have seen, then it is only necessary that the Court of Appeal steps in and make an order, redirect the tribunal to move to Abuja, and that's what has happened here. It is not there's nothing unlawful about it. There's nothing unconstitutional about it. It's very much lawful. It has happened before in other states, and those states will not be the first state where that will be moving a tribunal. Even though it's not a good precedent, but it's something that we are living with as a people in this country. Unfortunately, we're going to live with it until we do something about it. Yeah, now talking about doing something about it, we can't continue to fold our hands to bad acts, erroneous acts, criminal acts. Anytime there's a wrong act in this country, we give reasons rather than give punishment. We give reasons. For heaven's sake, somebody was shooting a firearm within the precinct, not within the premises of the court, like somebody said, no, but within the precinct, around the venue of the court, around the court surrounded there. Somebody shot a firearm around there, and the person was allowed to go. It's not something that should be allowed. It's not something that should be condoned because it gives the impression that if we can do it here and nothing happens, then what stops them from going to the hotels where these judges are lodged? What stops them from going to the hotel where these witnesses are lodged? Don't forget that these witnesses are known. They live amongst us. You bring a witness from a place like Ekpoma to Benin to come and give evidence. You lodge him in a hotel overnight. By daybreak, you can't find him. There will be so many. To avoid all of these, to ensure that justice is done and done for every party and every person, that is why the tribunal had to move to Abuja. For me, it's not a good thing that we should be celebrating. It's not. I see some parties celebrating that, oh, it has moved to Abuja. Now we have free hand. We'll win. And I hear both sides. PDP is saying, oh yes, this time no more. You can't move lions and tigers to Abuja. That place is secure. Nobody can do this. Then you hear APC saying, oh, that's our house. We will go there and get it today. It's not something. It's not all about victory. It's not that what we call victory. It is actually a loss to all of us. There's no victory here. There's no victory because the truth is, you may be in APC today. Tomorrow morning, you may not be in APC. The same goes for PDP. You may be here today, and tomorrow morning you won't be there. You'll be complaining. You'll not be coming back to the same people. You have damaged their system to see how they can give you rest. But it's not done anyway. We should try as much as possible to build a system that works for every person, not just for your party today, not for your candidate for today. No, because that candidate you are calling your candidate today, tomorrow morning he may not even want to see you, and he may push you out. Then we've seen it happen in this state before. We have people who work for the former governor were pushed out from the scheme of things. They have to run to the other side and started calling for the same system that they have destroyed to come and rescue them. It doesn't work. If you destroy a system, you destroy it for all of us, for you and for me. So it's high time we begin to punish criminal acts. If for heaven's sake to interfere with judicial proceedings in any form, whether we saw some people hanging around the court entrance. I watched a video. That morning I was in court, though I wasn't there when that virtual video took place, where some people were standing in front of the court and were giving police order, giving DSS order. You who is not a state actor, you have no position in government, you have no office, you have no legal authority. You are giving police order, you are giving DSS order. It's not done anywhere. Let people who have been appointed by law, given the legal mandate to do a job, let them do their job. The rest of you can go and stay in your party secretariat and celebrate and be doing your celebration there until you get your victory. I think that's a better way to move things. Let all parties stay in their secretariat. Now that it has moved to Abuja, they can't go there and begin to make noise there. But it's not a good precedent that we have set for ourselves. We set a very bad one. That tomorrow you may also need that system, that court system that you are trying to undermine, you are trying to destroy. Tomorrow you will come back there and fight papers there, and you want the court to work for you. The same court you have disrespected and shown the very wrong impression to. So I think it's time we begin to punish. We must start by looking at the videos of all those who constituted nuisance within and around the court premises, arrest them and bring them to justice. That's the way to go, so that next time it doesn't happen again. Thank you.
All right, so my next question will be to Mr. Shedrack, because in your earlier submission, you raised some very high-level, issues that needs to be looked at, considering the fact that the violence that we saw, especially when the case was being presided over in Edo State, and of course the threats that followed it, which in your own opinion you felt moving it to Abuja was the best way to be able to help, to be able to make the matter more administered without being partial, and of course fair hearings to be heard. But you understand that in 2023, Nigerians, so to speak, saw where the precedence was set when it comes to the judiciary. All eyes were on the judiciary at the time, considering the fact that we were also mindful of rulings being done either as one would call it on technicalities as opposed to legalities. Now, my question to you would be, where is the place of power of incumbency, considering the fact that you are now moving a case from Edo State, which also has the ruling party in place, and of course now moving it to Abuja, where you also have the ruling party at the federal level. So where is the power of incumbency, and what is the possibility that there won't be some level of interference when it comes to the judiciary and, of course, the executive?
That's the palpable fear of everybody who is desirous of a sustainable democracy. That cases could go to courts and justice will be obtained, because that's the apex of it all. But let me quickly respond. My brother here spoke. When he spoke, he didn't speak like an APC man. He spoke like a man who who wants good governance, who has the fear of God in him. But you see the other one from US, Momodo is his name. As learned as he looks, when you crystallize all the things he has said, there's no sense in it. If you look at it, you can make some basic solution to say, see, it is no common use. Nobody is deceiving anybody in this state. We saw people who were mobilized to the court. Did the people mobilize anybody? There was no PDP member on ground constituting nuisance. All of them were members of the All Progressive Congress, bringing their boys, bringing their cronies, making all sorts of accusations. What made it worse was not that APC mobilized talks to the tribunal. What made it was that in the presence of police officers, in their numbers, 20, 30. These boys were not, they were threatening police, threatening DSS, wow, give me problem. They were all sorts of recklessness. That is where we are today. Mondo Pebolo has elevated Agberoism to a level that is now above security operatives. If they can do...
You just made an allegation.
I will justify. I will substantiate. See,
right,
as of today, the all we have in Edo State is no longer democracy. It is Agberocracy. Government by the Agbero, for the Agbero, and by the all of it is Agbero concerned. When we talk of a man who entered into government, not up to 2 months into government, what he did was that he had to mobilize Agberos across the 18 local government. Use Agbero to serve as impostors. As they acted as councillors, they kicked out all the 18 local government chairmen. And so all the chairmen have been kicked out by Agberos who imposed as local government councillors. Beyond that, they took another group of Agberos, gave them government cover, gave them government press, and they went to the secretariat of the People's Democratic Party, beat up our staff officers there, molested them, bought our equipment, and they took over the secretariat. What do you call that? Is that after kind of a former tenant? A former tenant of a building that you do not own. 4 years after you have left the place, you take your talks there, you beat the correct compound, and you occupy the place. You see, that's not Agberoism. If you leave this tribunal, we leave the People's Democratic Party, go to the streets. At every corner, there's a strong man somewhere. Who now holds way? Look at the markets, they are beating people collecting their money. Go to Akapava Junction, just opposite the Central Bank. The Agberos we have there now, collecting money. They're no less than 22. You know that 22 heavy-bodied men, wearing different kinds of shirts, different kind of balance, different kind of cap, different signals. I can 22 able-bodied men collecting revenue for one government. There's multiplicity of levy, there's duplication of levy. You go to the market, there's IEK. There are people who are protesting, bus drivers are protesting through their nose because this Agberos had job 4 years ago. When Governor Obaseki was in power, they had jobs. They were into trade, they were into small-scale business. But they've abandoned all of it today because everybody knows that in this Mondo Pueblo's government, Agberoism pays better than any small-scale business. I'm not talking of our Bakaway Central Park where you have them in large numbers. So all of these things are happening.
You've not addressed my question.
I will address your question. But I'm trying to tell you that...
the place of power of incumbency, now that the case has been moved from Edo State to...
The power of incumbency, ordinarily, there's only a power of incumbency in the legal jurisprudence.
Are we saying
that... I know it's a Nigerian factor.
All right, so are we saying that it is far from it that there will be some level of federal influence?
No, I dare say. Everybody knows that Tinubu to a large extent sees Nigeria through the microscopic lens of APC. And they believe here in Edo State that anything they do, as long as it promotes the interests of APC, Tinubu will turn a blind eye to it. That's why they've carried out this banner of legalization. And they are believing that because the man is desperate about 2027, he will also want to influence the judgment in court to retain Monday Okpebolo as governor. But that will not happen because Edo people Tinubu will be taught a dangerous lesson if there's any form of interference. Because in 2027, I had Monday Okpebolo making some statements when he came out to say he will deliver 100% for Tinubu in 2027. A man who could not deliver himself. The best bet Tinubu has is that only a man who is loved by the people, whom the people listen to, can deliver another man. I dare say as of today, only Asoli Megodalo can deliver votes that can even help Tinubu if the case happened. We had this case scenario, we had something similar in 2015, when Adams Ali Oshomole was governor of Edo State. When Goulokebe Jonathan was running for presidency, Goulokebe Jonathan won Edo State, even though Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Buhari won Nigeria, because Oshomole had given a soft nod to the candidacy of Goulokebe Jonathan. They say vote for this man, even though we are APC in this state, I'm your governor, but this man has helped. He has helped the people. Most of the roads we tied was one that returned our money. He has assisted us directly. So this man, Goulokebe Jonathan won. If they relate APC, if Tinubu at that age, over 80 something, Tinubu can campaign better than Monday Okpebolo. So what are we telling you? Even the Bible makes it clear that when a blind man leads a blind man, they will both fall into a ditch. So if Tinubu even knows what is good for him, he should allow justice to reign. Because first of all, it will be a win-win for the judiciary. The judiciary cannot begin. You are just alleged now. That incumbency only happens in Nigeria. There is no way around the world. When you have the power of incumbency, if you see justice.
Why I said this, because the videos are already online where Tinubu said, I will give Edo people
That was the illegality that took place in the election.
So what is the possibility that this court case now will not go that route?
And that's why we are believing. See, first of all, I have faith in two things: the clarity of our case. There is the rape that was done in Edo State is widespread. There is local and international interest. People have come out in public, in national television to say it is INEC that won't rig the election. It is no APC because they do not have the intellectual capacity. Or they did it carelessly and wrong. People have come out to say this is the unity. There's projects of sophisticated evidence that is glaring, obvious to the blind and audible to the deaf, to know that this man stole. When we are asking the case in simple, look out, we're not even saying the INEC did the election where we don't care the process as to INEC ran the process. What we are saying is that court, look at the result INEC called. Look at the certified true copy from the beavers. Look at where this voting is clear. Wherever our clear voters is more like 2,000 the unit is cancelled. Cancel where PDP had overvoting. Cancel where APC had overvoting. Calculate again and tell us who won. It's as simple as that. Because when we begin to go into the issue and say INEC did not perform an election where they went to collect the election, collect at the local government, they collected at the state headquarters, there will not be issue of rerun. And that's what APC is hoping for. That's why they are destroying the structure because they cannot. If you look at the reply, when the originating someone we wrote, when APC replied, they did not deny that there were no illegalities. Go and read, go and do investigations. They did not deny there was no illegality in this election. What they did was they were not begging that the illegalities that arose from the election that they did is a fault of INEC. The INEC should be given a chance to go and do a rerun. And that is not possible. What we are hoping is that the court will decide who truly won because the people have spoken unanimously and we know where the votes went. So the idea of, see, if Tinubu knows what's good for him, 2027 is in the corner, he needs to begin to remake his image so that people, because as I speak now, there is pervasive hunger, widespread poverty, there is massive unemployment, galloping inflation. The poverty in Nigeria is not only affecting the living, it's not affecting the dead. Because people in the grave are angry and aggrieved because people are not going to drop flower. People are not, someone that's not eating will go and drop flower for his living father. People are not doing remembrance again because when the cost of living is killing the living, nobody will remember the dead. The poverty is hitting them in their grave. And you say, we will not go and vote for who? Tinubu. Tinubu must now, at least, even the judiciary should be wise. They should know that at this material point in time, they should be aiming to reposition and reclaim their image so that people can begin to look at them and say, oh, this judiciary is truly the teardown of government and they understand their role in the scheme of things.
All right, so Mr. Shedrack, you have made your submission quite well. Now, my question to you now is, you've heard what he has said, that looking at what Nigerians want at this time, the case should be looking at where you have, surplus voting or excess voting on both sides and making it balanced. Now, what is your view as regards this when it comes to fair hearing and, of course, being transparent in this case?
It's unfortunate that when you are seated by the side of some of these PDP chieftains.
No, let's not make it a party issue. I'm looking at it from a Nigerian point of view.
Yeah.
Right.
They tend to be so aggressive, as if staying in opposition is killing them.
That's why I used to say, when I was in power, that's why I used to talk.
In the first place, why will you partake or be involved in an election when the judiciary, the INEC, the umpire that is being vested with the authority to conduct that election, you would never accept the results. It's surprising to me sometimes when they speak. They make some kind of speculations to look very real, especially when some of them have this good command of English language. I commend the way you talk. But however, like you have said earlier, on this issue of the power of incumbency and whether they will go to get fair hearing and all that, even if the outcome is that if the judgment does not go their way, it's not properly done. In this country, when you don't win an election, it was not conducted well. That perception, we should rule it out and try as much as possible to embrace and see that our democracy grows. I agree that there are lapses, hiccups here and there while conducting the election. I've been involved in 1 or 2 elections, and this past one very well. But it is not enough to say that it was perpetually rigged.
No, what he's saying is that look at where you have overvoting on both sides, cancel it and do the calculation again and let us know the winner. He is not saying that they won't be satisfied with the result. He's saying do the right thing. So what is your take on that, looking at it from the Nigerian eye, not as a party member?
Okay. No, what he has said a little bit is his own understanding about how to get justice.
Yes.
But in the court, it is not just the arithmetic aspect.
So it is what?
It is, they look at some other factors.
Technicalities.
Forget the issue of technicalities. It is not an issue of the way you want the judgment to be done by way of subtracting, adding, and all that. Although I'm not a lawyer, and most of these cases, this case is already in the law court, why don't we allow justice? Why don't we allow the judiciary to do their work instead of putting into them some kind of fear, some kind of...
While we do not want to be prejudicial, we also have our expectation. That is what he's saying. So are you expecting that the matter will be presided in a legal way or technicalities will play out just as it were in 2023 election?
You are pushing some certain things into my mouth.
I wanted you to say it the way it is.
But let me tell you, the issue of technicalities and all that, technicalities has to do with scientific explanation, things that maybe we, the laymen will not really understand. There is the provision in law in all of these things. Okay. You are talking about the issue of just subtract, add. That is his own way of looking at how they will get justice.
Okay. Okay. You know? Thank you. Well, let's call it a wrap. But I'm going to be asking one question to the analyst present at the Zoom. And the question is, we've had this challenge, in Osun State, Osogbo, where it was relocated to the FCT. We also had it in River State, Port Harcourt, where it was relocated. We also had it in Kogi, and there could be other incidents. What is the way forward? How can we make this local, where it happened, where such incidents transpired, for it to take place? And how can we make sure that happens without undue influence or insecurity, threatening the peace and the sitting of such tribunal in their various states? I want you to take the first lead, Ibrahim, in 1 minute.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. The first thing to say is that, correctly, it is not the first time a tribunal has been relocated, election petition tribunal has been relocated. In 2015, we had Adamawa and we had Yobe. Subsequently, we have had Kogi, we have had Osun, we have had Rivers. So although it's not the first location where election petitions have been relocated. Added to that is the fact that when it comes to election petition, there's no way a partisan like your guest in the studio can teleguide the judges. It's impossible. It is for us to, you cannot approbate and rate. You are, first of all, you are criticizing the judges that they're going to be influenced, and then you are hoping for judicial an outcome that is favorable to you. So I think that all stakeholders you cannot continue to browbeat, intimidate, harass and harangue the justices and expect to get justice from those injured. So you see the way he has spoken, your guest in studio, he has not spoken to somebody who is actually interested in justice. He's interested in an outcome that favors them, so that they do or die.
Thank you, Ibrahim. Please, we have to quickly manage the time we have. Let's also ask you that question. Andrew Bello, what's the way out of this quagmire that we find ourselves? Because at the time you started, you did say that we shouldn't celebrate. This is not victory. So what's the way out in 1 minute?
Yes, it has been happening before. Doesn't mean it should continue to happen. It's time we deal with it. And the only way to deal with it is simple. Punish those who cause those havoc, who lead thugs, who cause these reasons why we have to move, because somebody caused the reason. Somebody made an action, took an act that led to the courts relocating. Those persons should be brought forward and punished in line with the law. Now, finally, before I leave the studio, something was said just now about the matter in court. When a matter is in court that is already sub judice, we don't begin to make comments on it, please. We don't begin to tell the public to analyze it and determine for it. If we are going to analyze ourselves, there's no you go to court. Once you go to court, you allow the court to do its job. Unfortunately, we don't have comments.
Let's get your closing remarks on that, Momo. Ahmed Momodu.
Address the Agberu that you brought into the studio there. All those languages that you are using, that's PDP language. The matter of fact is that the people of Edo State have given their mandate. The era of violence has passed. If you have a case, put it in the tribunal, let the tribunal come out and tell us the results of whatever it is that you have put before them. APC has not experienced any overvoting. The people voted for legally and gave their mandate to Monday Okpebolo. The PDP may have experienced overvoting, which is normal, but we've been able to get rid of Godwin Obaseki. In closing, let us remember that the most important part of this whole exercise are the people and what they want to say. They've come out, they've said what they want to say. If there's a contest, take it to the courts, let the court decide in peace, and then let us hear what the court has to say. Who has to lose at this point in time? We have nothing to lose. So we are 100% confident. Take it to Kaduna, take it to Abuja, take it wherever. The people have spoken, and we expect that mandate to come back resoundingly. And that's my closing.
He said the people have spoken. So what is your outlook as the case pans out?
I strongly believe that by the special grace of God,
Yeah.
The judiciary will look into the issue objectively. With the preponderance of evidence we have produced, they will give us a judgment that's a pure reflection of justice. And I know people can have a heave of relief and get the kind of leadership we truly deserve. Because where we are now, but it's a sorry state. And I heard him speaking about the idea of, the man spoke, the APC man spoke about Agbero. And the question I asked him, people who mobilize thugs to court, why have they not been apprehended? There are videos, there are shots. Because these people are celebrated over and above the normal human being. They are said to be holy, sacred cows. Nothing can happen to them. So that's where we are in Edo State. And I make it clear to say that this man has not yet been confirmed in the Supreme Court to be winner. These Agberos are acting with this level of ruthlessness, this level of rascality. What will now happen when they now announce that, oh, Monday Okpebolo, you are now the governor for the next 4 years? You imagine the kind of insecurity you will have as an individual in Edo State.
All right, so as we round up, so what's your take on it?
On the issue of the judiciary, I have full confidence that justice will prevail, and the judgment of the tribunal will be fair and acceptable to all.
Thank you so much.